Hi guys, and welcome back to I Speak English. My name's Hayley, and in today's lesson we're going to be taking a look at some binomials for C2 level and C1 level as well. If you are preparing for C2 Cambridge, this video is going to genuinely make the difference between whether you sound proficient and natural and kind of sounding average. Because honestly, the truth is, most C2 candidates, you know complex grammar, you probably know rare vocabulary, and you've memorized like sophisticated linking words, stuff like that. But maybe you still don't sound as natural as you would like to sound. And the reason sometimes might be because of missing binomials. So binomials are things, they're like expressions native speakers use automatically. They're fixed expressions, they're idiomatic expressions, and examiners notice them immediately in the exam. So at C2 level, it's not enough to just sound correct. You also need to sound controlled, natural, and kind of have this effortlessness about the way that you speak. So in this video, I'm going to show you the most used C2 level binomials for speaking and writing. I'm going to show you how to use them kind of naturally in essays, reports, and also speaking part 3 as well. And I'm also going to show you how to kind of avoid sounding forced when you use them or unnatural. So stay to the end because there is going to be some gap fill exercises for you as well, just to test you to make sure that you know how to use these expressions. And I'm guaranteed at least one of them will do the trick. If you are studying for Cambridge C1 as well, this is going to be useful for you, so stay here with me. In the meantime, just before we do take a look at our binomials, please do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and please do give this video a like if you learned something new today. It just helps it to get to more people so that they can prepare for their Cambridge exam as well. Right, with that being said then, we're going to get started. First of all, your first question might be, what is a binomial? I've never heard of this before. A binomial is basically just two words that are joined together, usually by short linking words like and or or, and they form a fixed expression or an idiomatic expression. First and foremost is an example of a binomial. Okay, this is a really useful binomial for you to use, especially in writing, if you're writing an essay, and also if you're speaking as well, for your speaking part 3. We take a look at how you can use, first and foremost, let's have a look in an essay, for example. So we've got first and foremost, education should equip students with critical thinking skills rather than simply factual knowledge. Okay, so it's just basically another way to say firstly, but it's just that bit more advanced, that bit more proficient, and that bit more natural as well. Okay, you can also use it in your speaking as well, your speaking part 3. So again, let's say you are, in your speaking part 3 for Cambridge C2, you have to talk about 3 different points, right? This is your long turn. So when you're starting your first point, you can say first and foremost. First and foremost, I think we need to consider the long-term consequences of X, Y, Z, whatever your topic might be. Okay, so that's it, really simple. First and foremost, that's our first binomial. I've got 9 more binomials for you that are going to be really useful. Our second one is hit and miss. This is really common. It's kind of informal, but you could possibly still use it in your writing as well, not only your speaking. Let's take a look at an example, see if you can understand what hit and miss means from our example. So the accuracy of online news sources can be somewhat hit and miss. That's our writing. And for your speaking, honestly, the quality of online journalism is a bit hit and miss these days. Okay. What do you think hit and miss means from those examples then? The accuracy of online news sources can be somewhat hit and miss. So it means it's like either correct and then not correct, hit and miss, or it works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. It's successful and then it's not successful. So it's kind of, hit and miss, like it's It's not good 100% of the time. It's kind of 50-50 whether it will work or not, or whether it's good or not. Okay, so the accuracy of online news sources can be somewhat hit and miss. So they're accurate sometimes and not other times. Okay, so you can definitely use that, hit and miss in both writing and speaking. Our next one is if and when. Okay, so let's take a look. In your essay, for example, you could say if and when technological regulation catches up with innovation, ethical concerns may diminish. And for your speaking part 3, it's hard to predict what will change if and when the economy stabilizes. So if and when is just an alternative to if, but it's a bit more unlikely than if. So I'm saying if and when, yeah, it might not happen, but if and when it does happen, So just an alternative to if, but more unlikely, basically. Okay. All right, I've got a test for you then. So we've done 3 already. Let's see if you can complete this sentence here with either first and foremost, hit and miss, and if and when. So our sentence was, when evaluating the proposal, we must consider its long-term impact on local communities. Okay, what do we think is going to go in that gap? I'll give you 5 seconds to complete that sentence with one of these phrases. All right, you got 5 seconds, off you go. All right, your time's up. You should have gone for, when evaluating the proposal, we must consider, first and foremost, its long-term impact on local communities. Okay, so hit and miss definitely would not go there. If and when, again, doesn't make sense there. So you need to consider firstly or mainly its long-term impact. By the way, if you do want to practice any of these binomials and more C2 vocabulary, I have got some flashcards in the description for you. Click that link in the description and you can download 200 C2 level flashcards and you can kind of practice them while you're going. Vocabulary is massive at C2. It's very, very big part of the C2 exam and you need to know a lot of it. So I would recommend downloading some flashcards and then kind of slowly going through them so you can build your vocabulary over time. So click the link in the description there for you if you want to download them completely free. We're going to head on to our next binomial, which is all or nothing. Okay, so we've got an example here. Reports. Right, so yeah, to use this in your report. So one potential concern is that the proposed scheme appears to adopt an all or nothing approach to performance measurement. Okay, so you can see here I've also put this often collocates with approach, attitude, mindset, and decision. They're the words that we tend to collocate with all or nothing. Okay, so all or nothing is kind of exactly what it says. It's like a very extreme approach. Okay, so it's very like black and white, you could also say, all or nothing, very extreme, very one-sided. Okay, so an all or nothing approach, it's like there's no wiggle room, there's no grey area, it's just very strict, very extreme. Okay. All right, so we can use that in writing. You can also use it in speaking if you want. Okay. Next up, we've got by and large. Okay. By and large, tourists respond positively to sustainable travel initiatives. You use that in writing, in a report or a proposal. In your speaking, by and large, I'd say traveling broadens people's horizons, even if it can be stressful at times. Okay, so here, by and large basically means generally, on the whole, so you can use it as a synonym for on the whole or generally. So on the whole, tourists respond positively to sustainable travel initiatives. Okay. Generally, I'd say traveling broadens people's horizons. So it's just a nice synonym there for you. All right, and another one, trial and error. You might already know this one. It's quite a common one, trial and error. So many young adults learn financial responsibility through trial and error rather than formal education. Versus for speaking, I've mostly learned how to budget through trial and error. No one really teaches you that. Okay, so if you do something through trial and error, it's like you just have to try it and see if it fails or if it works. And that's how you learn through failure and you learn through success. But you're just kind of trying stuff to see whether it works or not. You can see here as well, we tend to collocate it with through. You do something through trial and error. You can also use it with by as well. You just do something by trial and error. Alright, so I've got another test for you then with those three that we just learnt. All or nothing, by and large, trial and error. So let's see which one will fit this gap. So we've got, the feedback from staff has been positive, although a few concerns were raised about workload. What goes in that gap? All or nothing, by and large, or trial and error? You've got 5 seconds to complete that gap. Off you go. Alright, your time's up. I'd say this was a pretty easy one. What did you go for? Should have gone for, by and large, generally, on the whole, the feedback from staff has been positive. Okay, trial and error absolutely would not make sense there. All or nothing also would not make sense there. Alright, moving on to our next one then. We've got 4 left. We've already looked at 6. We've got 4 more. Give and take. This one's quite literal, really. For example, we've got long-term relationships inevitably require compromise and mutual give and take. That's for writing. For speaking, any relationship involves a bit of give and take. You can't always get your own way. Okay, give and take, synonym for compromise. So you're literally giving stuff, you're taking stuff. Compromise. Alright, pretty simple. Next up. Part and parcel. Oh, this is a nice one. We tend to say something's part and parcel of something else. For example, before I tell you what it means, let's take a look. So with writing, stress is part and parcel of managerial responsibility, particularly in high-stakes industries. And in speaking, dealing with difficult clients is just part and parcel of working in customer service. Okay, so part and parcel basically just means part of. It's just another way to say part of. But it's also more like it's a normal part of something that you just have to deal with. So stress is part and parcel of managerial responsibility. It's just part of being a manager. It's like a normal part of being a manager. Okay. Dealing with difficult clients is part and parcel of working in customer service. So it's just part of the job. You need to get used to it. The part and parcel of something, normally. Alright. Null and void. This is another good one. This is, say a bit more formal, but you can still use it in speaking. So should the investigation confirm misconduct, the agreement will be rendered null and void. Okay. If the contract was signed under pressure, it could be considered null and void. So null and void is like invalid, but legally invalid. So we tend to use this with documents, contracts, agreements. Any kind of legal contract would be null and void. Okay. If it's invalid, it's null and void. All right, I think we've got one more here for you as well. Time and again. Okay. So, for example, time and again, history has demonstrated the dangers of political extremism. Writing. In speaking, time and again, we see misinformation spreading faster than facts. Okay. So it's like saying again and again, or we keep seeing misinformation, time and again. It's like a repetitive thing. We tend to use it at the start of a sentence. You can also use this at the end of a sentence as well. So we could say, we see misinformation spreading faster than facts time and again. Okay. So either at the start or the end, either way. Right, your last test then. So we've looked at all 10. This is your last test for the 4 that we just looked at. So give and take, part and parcel, null and void, and time and again. One of those fits this gap here. Have a look. Handling criticism from the public is simply, working in politics. You've got 5 seconds to fill that gap with one of these phrases. Off you go. Alright, your time's up. You should have gone for part and parcel of. So handling criticism from the public is simply part and parcel of working in politics. So it's just a normal part of the job. Right, and there you have it. There you go. They are your binomials for C2 and C1 level. If you found this video useful, if you learned something new today, please do give it a like. It just helps it to reach more people so that they can prepare for their exam as well. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel as well. I upload videos every Saturday, long form videos, and shorts every single day. So you can learn English for free with me every day if you subscribe. And if you'd like to take a lesson with me or any of my video courses, you can go to www.englishclassesonline.co.uk. And you can find all of my online lessons and video courses there if you're interested. That's all from me for today, and I'll see you in another class soon. All right.